Today on this episode of True Friend with Cory Montell Scott.
She saw this lady crying and she stopped, like we was walking past her and she just stopped. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And she was staring at this lady. She was like, Mama, can I hug her? And I was like, no, you can't hug that lady. I want to hug her. And I just went to the lady. I was like, my daughter wants to hug you. Is that all right? And she was like, yes. And she hugged her and that lady broke all the way down. And I'm like, wait a minute now.
If you need a helping hand, let me tell you about a friend. He won't switch up on you. He'll love you through and through. In your time of need, he'll be a true friend indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of True Friend with Cory Montell Scott. Now, if you want to stay up to date on future episodes, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Every week we have somebody that is just a phenomenal blessing to my life musically. This person is definitely that. I first came across her talent, I don't know when that was, probably about 4 years ago. So we'll talk all about that. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Miss Christian Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
Christian, thank you so much for taking out the time and coming on. How you feeling today?
I feel amazing. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm making it. Up early this morning, but trying to get a pep in my step. But God is good.
I understand. Yes, He is.
So, Christian, I can go on and on and on about how remarkable I think your talent is, how remarkable I think your personality is. But I want to hear it from you. Who is Christian Anderson, and how would you define yourself to someone who has never met or heard of you before?
Well, I am a 38-year-old mother to a beautiful little girl. She's 8. I am a child of God. I am a person who loves life, loves God's people. I am creative. I am a student teacher. I'm a preacher. Of course, I'm a singer. I'm just a person who's passionate, passionate about life, cares a lot about people, who would do all I can to help out the next person, especially single mothers. So yeah. That's who I am. I help wherever I can. I serve in my local church, and not just on the praise team. I serve anywhere that help is needed. So, yeah, I'm a church girl.
I'm going to be real with you. A lot of people, especially people with the level of gifting that you have, aren't always so humble about the serve piece. An honorarium is necessary, but some people, if you don't have a dollar amount, and I mean, it could be for taking out the trash. It could be for cleaning up after church.
Come on.
If you don't have a dollar amount ready, they don't want no parts of it. Mm-hmm. And so I appreciate that. And I believe that's why God continues to bless you. And He's made room for your gift the way that He has. What was your upbringing like, Christian?
Well, I was brought up in church, in the apostolic faith. And my mom was a preacher. My dad was the minister of music. And up until I was about 7 years old, my life was really, really good. At least I felt it was as a child. And then my mom passed away when I was 7. And it just seemed like from 7 to maybe I was like maybe 31, my life was just topsy-turvy, okay? But by the grace of God, I am here and I'm grateful. So, yeah.
I did not know that, that you lost your mother at 7. I can only imagine the ways that your life would go after experiencing something like that. And it's no wonder that you sing the way you do. We first were introduced to you at New Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. It was a concert that was going on with Jonathan Nelson and Kim Burrell.
Yes.
And you opened up. I remember when me and my wife was there, we hadn't had no children yet. And I was like, who is this? Because it's like just when you thought that your range couldn't get any higher, you were just like, no, top this. No, top this. And I was just like, oh my God, the control. So I got on Instagram, found you, called everybody because we weren't even living in North Carolina then.
Mm-hmm.
And I called everybody I knew. I was like, hey, I don't know. We ran into somebody named Christian Anderson. We heard her sing, and she gonna be somebody.
Oh,
and fast forward, we were able to connect on some things. And it was at your conference that I was able to meet my pastor and first lady, Glenn Ussery, and Glenn and Ruta Ussery.
That's so awesome.
And they have been responsible for everything that I am today.
I love
so,
them.
Christian, thank you. Because, I don't know if it had not been for your yes to God in many ways, I don't know if I would have been able to cross paths with them the way that I did. So your life is just a ministry. It's not even just your talent. It's your life and your heart. That's the ministry. It's affecting the things around you that you don't even know are going on.
Wow. I definitely didn't know that. Wow. To God be the glory. Wow. That's so encouraging.
Let's get into this. What age did you realize that you had the gift to sing?
Oh, I never really thought about that. I would say this. When I was like 5 years old, my grandmother would tell me that I would sing to the other kids in preschool. I would be singing to them. And so, even though I didn't really realize the gift then, I think more so when I got a little older, maybe in my late teens, early 20s, when the Lord revealed to me that every time I opened up my mouth, that people are literally going to be set free and going to be delivered, going to be healed. And I have numerous of testimonies. I just spoke with someone about this. I can remember a lady contacting me via Facebook, and she was telling me that her mother, the doctors had given her up, and they didn't know what else to do with her. So they pretty much sent her home to die. That was what the doctor said. Now, when she said that she was doing a live stream, she was looking at the live stream, and I was up ministering. And as I'm ministering, she said her mom began to tell her, I feel like I'm being healed as she's singing. And so she said she took her back to the doctor, and they told her that they don't see whatever they saw or whatever was killing her. She felt and got healed in the moment that they were listening to me. And they wasn't even in the actual room. Like I said, this was a live stream. And not only that, I can remember a close friend of mine, he would have problems with his, I believe it was his right arm. No, it was his left. With his left arm, these very sharp pains. And he told me that, and this was during an audition that I was having. I was up singing, and he said as I was singing, he felt his arm. He felt he was being healed, and just stuff like that. And I've gotten inboxes. So a young man that was going to kill himself, and he just came across a video on Facebook, and he said he opened it and he listened to it, and immediately that spirit of wanting to kill himself left. And so I knew then. During my late teens and early 20s, that the Lord truly has called me to do this. He has gifted me to help his people, to be a resource of healing to them. So yeah, that's what I do.
What I want to know is, how has your personal testimony shaped the way that you vocally deliver the songs that you sing?
Oh, how has my testimony shape the way that I sing? They say that saying, there's a story behind the glory. Mm-hmm. Everything that I've been through in my life has caused me to be an overcomer, has given me grit, and everything that I endured in my life, I've heard people tell me that sometimes when I sing, they can hear what I've gone through, or they'll ask me, "What in the world have you gone through to sing like that?" And I think the overcoming things that I've overcame has shaped my singing in a way that I sing with such passion. I sing with literally knowing what I sing about and thinking about the people that are going through whatever that song may be. And I even ask God a lot of times, before I go out and minister anywhere, Lord, what do you want me to sing for your people? What do you have for me to sing? Because I can rehearse over this and rehearse over that. And a lot of times that has happened. I've gotten up, I've rehearsed over something. I get there and the Lord literally changes it up. And I believe that a lot of times the things that I've gone through, other people can relate to it through my singing, and they hear it, they feel it. So that's how it's shaped the way that I've overcame. I put that in my songs. They can feel that overcoming spirit. So
Just for you to even have the connection piece to allow the Lord to come in and shift something that was your original plan, that requires somebody who does have a consistent prayer life. I want you to, for artists and worship leaders alike, talk about how important it is to have a consistent prayer life, being not only an artist in the gospel music industry, but also a minstrel, a praise and worship leader. How important is that?
prayer is very important. The Bible tells us that we should pray without ceasing. Prayer is an essential part of our lives. We must have communication with God. We must be in our word. And prayer being such a big part of my life, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without prayer. I seek God about certain songs. I seek God about even where to go. Like, all doors are not good doors to go through. And that is because through prayer, God has sharpened my discernment. And, knowing that every opportunity is not a God opportunity. And so with prayer, and even in worship, as being a worship leader, a worship ambassador, prayer helps me to go where I'm trying to take the people. Because I can't take you nowhere that I ain't been. So, I can't lead you or help usher the presence of God in if I have not been in my prayer closet, if I have not been at home worshiping Him, talking to Him, because that's what prayer is. It is communication. It is me talking to God and Him talking back to me. And so prayer is so important in this ministry, in my ministry, in this industry. Because like I said, even you have to have discernment in this industry. You can't just because it may seem like a great opportunity or because they called on you, these big names, that does not mean you should jump right on it. And I think that that's when prayer comes in and you talk to God like, Lord, is this something that I should do? And He will direct you. He will lead you. And that's what prayer does for me in ministry and whatever I'm doing.
And also, not just from you being able to sing, you're a very gifted songwriter, from one songwriter to another.
Oh, yes.
Lift Your Name, So Good, Suddenly. All those songs are songs that pause me in my tracks and make me think.
Yes.
And even your interpretation of songs that you didn't necessarily write.
Yeah.
How is it that you are able to stay new, fresh, and innovative to what it is that God is trying to speak to His people as a songwriter?
Well, as a songwriter, one thing that I pray, I ask the Lord and I say, Lord, give me songs from heaven. I don't want to just write songs just to be writing them, or because the words may look good on paper or whatever. I literally pray for songs from heaven. I want to know your heart. I want to know what you feel about your people. I want to render that to your people. Whatever is on your heart, I want to sing about it. I want to hear, and I have literally heard instruments from heaven. And I'm not kidding. Like, it is nothing like I've heard on this earth. Y'all, if you have ever heard instruments, and I mean almost sounding like, and it's a full band, but it's like it's everywhere. It is the most beautiful sound that I've ever heard in my life. And I cannot describe it to you. But it sounds like victory. That's what it sounds like. It just sounds like victory. And so I asked God, give me these songs from heaven. And I can be driving down the street and I can hear, hear words that he's giving me. And, or I can be, a lot of times I've gotten my songs sitting right in the house of God while the preacher is up preaching. And I do be listening to the preacher. I listen to you, Pastor. But he gives me those words. Like recently, he gave me a song a couple of months ago called "Come Back to Me," and all the words are saying, "Come back to communion, come back to me, come back to my presence. I'll enlarge your perception of me. I'm waiting on you, as the Father did the prodigal son. Come back to me, come back to communion." And I believe the season that we're in, the Lord is wanting His people to come back to Him because we're being so distracted by everything, by the media, by everything that's going on around us. It can be sickness, our children, our marriage, whatever it is. And a lot of times the enemy, he wants to get us off track. He wants to keep our focus off of what God has for us. In that song, it's not just for those who have backslid, but it is for the people of God who are sitting right in the house of God, who are going to church Sunday after Sunday, week after week. And a lot of times they're either complacent, they're dying. Because I've been in church where, like I said, I've been brought up in church my whole life, and I've literally sat in the house of God and I spiritually died. And I just got so familiar and so complacent, and it became more of a form. But God is calling us back to Him, back to our first love. And I that's just when I prayed, that's how I prayed. Lord, give me songs that things that are on your heart. Give me songs from heaven, and that's how these songs come to me. So yeah.
God will do that. He will give you a song in the middle of a sermon. And of course, talking about Pastor Glenn Ussery, we know he'll come up with a song in a split second. It'll be a hit immediately.
He wrote my song, Yeshua.
I do know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I look forward to working with him again. Yes, I love Bishop Ussery, and I know I call him Bishop Ussery. I know y'all, Pastor Ussery.
I call him evangelist, apostle, prelate, and everything. He tell me to watch my mouth. I want to ask you, who's an artist, this could be secular or gospel, that you would like to collaborate with in the future?
Jason Nelson. I have said this for the longest. I absolutely love that man of God. His tone, he's anointed. You can just feel the love of God coming from him when he sings. And I would love to collaborate with him. So yeah.
He's incredible. Been incredible since Shifting the Atmosphere and
yes.
I Am, all those amazing songs.
Absolutely.
Forever is a Long Time is the one y'all love to sing that at y'all weddings and carrying on. But that's a gospel crooner for sure.
Yes, and I've already did a collaboration with, and I had already sang with him. Of course, my pastor Kendall McDowell, and he just released "Goodness of God," which is featuring yours truly. And so I told him he is literally in my top 5 artists. I just think he's an incredible worshiper. But yeah, he's another one. So that is off the list. So we waiting on Jason Nelson.
You mentioned that you are a single mother, which I've had the pleasure of meeting and being in the room with you and your kid. What a respectful little girl.
Oh,
Raising 2 girls. I would hope and pray that they continue to be respectful up until that age. Because if they don't, they know their daddy. How are you able to balance motherhood and an actively rising career in gospel music?
Yes. Motherhood is the most beautiful, rewarding, hardest job. And ministry, it can be a bit, ministry is good, but it can also be sometimes a little stressful. And I say that, and I'm saying stressful because sometimes we get in our own way and try to do things. And but He's yet working on me. And God is good, even with ministry. But I'm able to bring my baby with me, even when I go out and minister. I'm able to everywhere I go pretty much, because she's homeschooled. So I try to teach her about ministry, and of course she knows what I do. So being a mother and being a rising artist and in ministry, both of them together are just rewarding for my baby to be able to witness the miracles and the blessings and the favor that God has given me, because everything that he does for me, it trickles down to her. So I'm glad that she's able to be there with me in ministry, and able to see the move of God, the hand of God that is on both of our lives, and she's able to encounter him as well. So yeah, mothering and ministry, I love it all, and I'm just glad she's able to be there with me.
Homeschooling, I was somebody who was homeschooled, and we're talking about that now with our kids, and the only reason why I would consider it is because of all that's happening in the world right now. Public school is not the same
at all
as it was when I was there. Even with prayer not necessarily being in school back then, it's far evolved in the worst ways.
Absolutely.
What went into that decision-making process to decide, hey, I'm not trying to deal with no foolishness. I got my baby. We can do this, me and her. What was that decision-making process like for that?
Honestly, it was God. And I don't think he ever wanted me to put her in public school. She went for the first 2 years, her first and second grade year. And even then, the Lord was dealing with me. And I was a music teacher. And so I was like, how am I do this and work? Like, Lord, I don't know about this. And I felt inadequate. So I didn't know if I could even do it. But I could not, it wouldn't lift up off of me. And so her first grade year, she went by. There were some things that happened that, the Lord was kind of like, okay, you're going to have to get on up out of here. And then her second year came, and I said, well, let's just see. Let me make sure this is God, right. Which I knew it was him. But like I said, I felt inadequate, and I wanted to, I'm like, Lord, come on, kind of change his mind about it. But some things happened, and I can remember when working on my job, I would teach at different schools or whatever, music. And one thing I had to use was my voice. That was the main thing I had to use, was sing to the kids, I was little bitty kids. And so when the Lord was telling me to come off my job and take her out of school, I was so slow in moving. And all of a sudden I got super sick, like sick. I couldn't use my voice for almost 2 months. And that was so scary for me. And I had to start playing music, or playing songs for the kids instead of me singing. And so I knew then, like, this is God. He done shut me up, so I don't have to do what I'm supposed to do on this job. So I ended up getting off the job. And so going into her third grade year, what was it? This is a year. Yeah. I take that her second grade year, because it was kindergarten and first grade, because I said first and second. So after her first grade year, we went on ahead. I took her out, and but I will say this: the things that happened that led up to it. One of the things in her school, that was a little girl who told my daughter she was a witch and that she was going to kill her. And so that was like, okay, the Lord is telling you to get her out, because even though these were 6-year-olds, there was a 6-year-old that literally the week before just killed his teacher. And so we take those kind of things seriously. And I knew then, I said, okay, all right, God, I hear you. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I took her out, and I said, Lord, if I'm going to do this, you have to help me. Like, you got to lay it out for me where it is so easy for the both of us that we don't have to want for anything. I ain't got to put out a whole lot of money. And when I tell you, The Lord answered my prayer. My baby now, she received for her now the first year, I think I spent like $35 a month to get the stuff that she needed. But this year, the Lord had I applied for this program called a Melanin Village. And I applied for it when I first started, but they didn't have a chapter here in North Carolina and in Greensboro. And I actually forgot about it that I applied, but they called me for her third grade year. It was like, we want to accept her into this program, and we want you to apply for this scholarship. I applied. My baby got a full ride homeschooling scholarship, if you want to call it that.
Amen.
Well, I mean, when I say every single thing is paid for, I don't have to pay for no school supplies. I don't have to pay for she goes on field trips. They pay for everything. Everything. Every book, she has to do, she has 4 subjects. They pay for all the books. They pay for all the online stuff. Anything that I need, all of my coaching, if I need coaching, they pay for that. Yeah. So I knew that this is something that God wanted me to do. I heard him even before, like I said, before she started school, and God answered me, and he's been taking care of us. She's been learning. And it's amazing. And she love it because she ain't got to get up super early. So, but yeah, that's how I knew that homeschooling was for us, because the Lord told me to do it. So yeah, I had to be obedient.
Christian, in what ways do you see yourself in your daughter?
Ooh, she is so, y'all gonna make me cry. Oh my God, I just thought about it. Don't do it. Okay. She is so compassionate. My daughter is so loving. She loves people. Like, she saw this lady crying one time. She was a lot younger. I know I have a lot of stories, y'all. She saw this lady crying, and she stopped. Like, we was walking past her, and she just stopped. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And she was staring at this lady. She was like, "Mama, can I hug her?" And I was like, "No, you can't hug that lady." I want to hug her. And I just went to the lady. I was like, my daughter wants to hug you. Is that all right? And she's like, yes. And she hugged her, and that lady broke all the way down. And I'm like, wait a minute now, but she broke all the way down. And then after all it was said and done, she was like, you don't know how much I needed that. And it's just the compassion that my daughter has for people. And she has such empathy, and I love that about her. And that is so me. And she loves hard. And I think she's very, very affectionate. She's a lot more affectionate than I am. And I thought that I was super affectionate because I love hugging her. I love kissing on her. And I do that with my family. But she got it real bad to the point where I'm like, dang, girl, come on now. Give me some breathing room, But yeah, she is such a compassionate little girl. And I love that about her.
That's beautiful. Christian, what's next? I've talked about, Lift Your Name, So Good, Yeshua. You had a recent collaboration. What is next for Christian Anderson?
What's next for me? I'm re-releasing my latest single, Suddenly. It will pre-order, I think it's October the 4th, and the release is October the 25th. And not only that, y'all, not only will it be on digital and all of that, but you will be able to see a visual. I am shooting a music video this weekend in Atlanta, and I'm super excited for Suddenly. This is so big. I'm excited about this, and I cannot wait for y'all to see the visual. The storyline is just top tier, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I cannot wait. And I'm working on another song. It's called Every Day, and that will be released before the year is out. And hopefully, I'm also trying to finish my book, y'all. I have a book. that I am working on. It's pretty much an autobiography of my life and the things that I've gone through and how God has brought me out and delivered me from the spirit of rejection and all of that, and how it's going to talk about my ex-husband and the marriage, the abuse, and everything I've gone through in my life. It's going to talk about that. And it's going to be pretty much like like I said, an autobiography and a journal where you can jot down after you finish reading certain inserts. You can jot down your feelings of, what that chapter and how it made you feel, and how your life have, if you've gone through something like that. So, and the book is called "I Want What You Want." And I'm praying I finish by December, y'all. But I'm excited about my book. My daughter, she has a ABC. It's called an ABC affirmation book, and so we're trying to put that out for her. We have our Melody bedtime stories. Many of you have seen us do that, and we also have a thing called encouragement time, where we go to different places, schools, whoever asks us to come, churches, whatever, and we go and sing to the kids. We sing books to them. I do a session where it's called paint your feelings, and I play a song for the little kids, and they paint how that song or how that music makes them feel. And a lot of times you will hear them say, it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel loved. And I tell them about Jesus. I let them know how much he loves them and all of that good stuff. And I read an encouraging book to them. We sing an encouraging book to them. And again, that's called Encouragement Time and Melody Bedtime Stories. And we're getting ready to put that back up, get that going again. What else? Yeah, and hopefully I'm working on an album. I have so many songs, y'all, that I really want to put out there. As an independent artist, it is not the easiest thing to put out music, because studio time and all that stuff is expensive. Okay, but I'm working on that, and I'm just out here living and loving life, and trying to be obedient and do what the Lord tell me to do. Yeah.
Christian, I want you to go back about a decade. Go back 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
What would the woman that you are now tell the woman that you were back then?
Don't rush it. Look to the hills from which cometh your help. Everything you need comes from the Lord. Don't be in a rush to do things, because the Bible tells us in Jeremiah 29:11 that every thought that he has towards you, they are good thoughts. They're not evil, and they're to give you hope and an expected end. There is hope for your future. Don't rush it. Trust God.